Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps and also on the Hockey Podcast Network. I thank Dylan and Kyle coming in out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Really appreciate you guys having me on board that awesome network. And I thank all of you out there also for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Well, yeah, another kind of a hazy-ish, well, you could say it's semi-overcast, mostly cloudy-ish sky. That's kind of like the road ahead, other than possibly playing the Winnipeg Jets in the first round. Yeah, well, it's better than missing, I guess. Well, I don't know. Either way, our draft pick will probably be right around the same spot, kind of somewhere semi in the middle-ish, which, I don't know. It's okay, as long as they make the right draft pick, I guess. I mean, I suppose you could have the 5th overall pick and pick the worst player in the draft, possibly, or the biggest disappointment. One way or another, though, it is what it is. Minnesota Wild had a, dramatic week is probably a great way to put it, a dramatic week. Ups and downs, certainly a down at the beginning. What the heck, losing to the New York Islanders on the road, that was pretty lame. But then also a very awesome win over the Dallas Stars on Sunday. And then a back and forth, what the hell was that night with the San Jose Sharks and Marc-Andre Fleury's supposed final home game. I guess it is, yeah. Unless he's going to be, in that against the Anaheim Ducks. But maybe that game's going to have too many implications. I can't believe it. An 8-7 game versus the San Jose Sharks. Well, the Minnesota Wild, at the end of the day, get 4 out of 6 points. So I guess, as Meatloaf says, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yeah, it's progress. Unfortunately, well, if the Minnesota Wild, again, if they make the postseason, we'd be playing the, at least as of right now, if the playoffs started today, that type of thing. Minnesota versus the Winnipeg Jets. Vegas Golden Knights versus the St. Louis Blues. Edmonton and Los Angeles, the Gretzky series. Yes, the classic. We've seen that series many times, especially back in the day when Gretzky was on the Kings. They played against the Oilers several times. So that was pretty wild. And I think the Oilers ended up winning a lot of those. Anyhow, Dallas and Colorado, it would be quite a series. Well, you get rid of one of them along the way, but you still have to play the other one if you get past the Winnipeg Jets. How quaint. Anyhow, the Ottawa Senators would be in the postseason versus Toronto. Interesting. Tampa and Florida. I didn't say Tampa, Florida. I said Tampa and Florida. So another matchup between those two. That's, again, obviously how the way the playoffs are set up. You play the same couple teams every dang time you make the playoffs. I know it's better than not making the playoffs, but I think a lot of us wouldn't mind going back to the whole, seeding type of deal, 1 through 8, and you play against, instead of all this divisional crap. But then again, occasionally you do get mixed up and you end up playing the other division a little bit, but oftentimes you're still stuck in your division, which is kind of annoying. I think a lot of people don't like it. Otherwise, again, back to the East, the Washington Capitals hosting the Montreal Canadiens, making it back to the postseason again. And then an interesting battle between Carolina and New Jersey. Again, that's if the season started, or the season ended today and the playoffs started today. Yeah, that was really worded well, wasn't it? Just absolutely great. Yeah, that was good. Anyhow, the New York Islanders game. Yeah, well, we got 3 games to review and 3 final games of the regular season to preview. Should be able to get a show out next week as we're nearing maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still not even 100% sure what's going to happen this year with the whole lawn service. Still been very quiet, but if anything, it's a Marc-Andre Fleury type of year. I'm old. I shouldn't be doing this anymore. My ankle's telling me stop. That kind of thing. Yeah, so it's a Marc-Andre Fleury thing. Maybe Fleury playing too many years afterward. It'd be like if he played 2 years after this year. Like, okay, dude, stop. That's what it feels like. But we'll see. Calgary and Vancouver. So we're going to the Mountain Zone and then into the Pacific Zone. Both road games, of course. Calgary Flames, a very important game to kind of put an end to things. But, of course, the Wild typically don't play well against Calgary. We just don't, except for the very first season when Minnesota and Calgary were at the bottom of the division back in 2000 and 2001. Calgary was the one team, like below the Wild. They were, just an absolute mess. Little we know, just a few years later, they'd be in the Cup Finals. It was still the Finals, I believe, back then. They changed it to the Final, I think, after that big strike or lockout, when they changed even the NHL logo. Yeah, anyhow, ever since basically the first season or so, the Wild have had a hell of a time with Calgary with a few wins mixed in because you're going to beat them sometimes, even Dallas, like the Wild did. Vancouver Canucks in British Columbia, yes, okay, Dylan and Kyle, but I believe Vancouver's out already of the postseason. They had a pretty promising year, and it just, I don't know, everything kind of fell apart, unfortunately, for them. And the Anaheim Ducks, rumor has it a certain host of a certain podcast will be at that game, but it's just a rumor. And I don't like to spread rumors. So that kind of thing. Yeah, I absolutely am not. And don't ask the person when was the last time they attended a game. As long as they keep up with the team, that's what matters most. Right? Keep up with the team in order to do their podcast and keep up as close as possible. Now I'm babbling again, which I tend to do way too much. New York Islanders, April 4th, Friday. Last week, a 3-1 loss. Great. Noah Dobson, I suppose they call him Dauber. Well, I guess they took one of his goals away. The first goal of the game for New York after Zuccarello made it 1-0 very early in the second period. The Wild enjoyed that lead for less than a minute, and that was it. Basically, after that, the Islanders would then beat the Wild 3-1. It's terrific. Very frustrating first period. Like, why can't we score? I know the Islanders have a good goalie in Sorokin. I know he's a great goaltender. But why can't we score? We still have Gustafsson, but he unfortunately would give up 3 goals. Not the best game of his life, that's for sure. Not the worst, but certainly not the best. Zuccarello, the only goal of the game, basically was a lucky bounce, as they might say, in Canada, as the puck basically kind of went off of Sorokin's numbers, basically, and into the net. So terrific. Okay, well, it went in. Well, it was 1-0, but then after that, again, Dobson. Apparently, the puck off of Dobson's stick ultimately went to Casey Suzakis. Rolls right off your tongue. Casey Suzakis. Yay. Simon Holmstrom. That rolls off your tongue, too. Oh, my. From Maxim I don't know, Tisplakov. I think I got it, maybe. And Ryan Pollock. That's a little bit easier. We've seen that name for a long time, I suppose. And then Dauber, as they might call him, Noah Dobson, would get his 10th goal of the season on the power play. The Wild penalty kill continuing to be what it is. You know, not anything to write home about. And, yeah, this was a regular goal. This was not with an empty net. Early in the... Well, obviously it was early in the third period. For some reason, I thought it was later in the game, but early in the third period. So yeah, the Wild will be down by 2 goals. They always say, the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey. Well, it certainly wasn't for the New York Islanders. So whatever, I suppose. Obviously, the Gophers, the 2-goal lead, is like, oh my God, batten down the hatches. We're up by 2 goals. Just stay there. Don't ever try to score again. You got to just stand there and panic. Please. Oh, they beat us anyway because we're just panicking and not trying to win. That's the Gopher style. Yeah, I'm ready to move on from that. I am ready to move on from that. Yes, it's a regular season. They're a regular season program, unfortunately, at least from my point of view at this stage. I'm just so dumb, aren't I? I'm just an idiot. Just so dumb. How dare I say that? In other news, the Anaheim Ducks did beat the Calgary Flames last night, apparently on the 9th of April. So that helps. Calgary did get a point, though. It was an overtime loss, so that is the conversation there. The Wild have the opportunity to put the Flames away, to douse the Flames, if that's okay to put it that way. And we'll see. You'd like to believe the Wild will, but I don't know. We'll talk about that in the second segment. And of course, we'll get a bit topical and something very important, of course, a loss in the organization to talk about, which is extremely sad. Like, geez, it's so... It happened again, Jeez. I mean, it's got like Curvers just recently. Tom Curvers, like, good Lord, man. But we'll get to that very shortly. I apologize. Or should I get to it now? When's the best time to get to it? Is there a good time? Probably around the Sharks game because that's when it happened. Yeah. Well, not during the game, but earlier in the day. Yeah, well, Sunday, April the 6th. I'm sorry to bring it down here, but yeah, it's the way it is. Sunday, April the 6th, TNT thought we were going to be the sacrificial lamb in a matinee TNT game, National Hockey, or nationally televised game, might be a better way to put it. And of course, the same stinking guy who scores every stinking time he plays against the stinking Wild, Jason Bleepin Robertson, again. Ugh. Oh, I'm so sick of it. Does it always have to be Jason Robertson? Just like, again, in the past with the Wild versus the Calgary Flames, the team that owned us outside of the first season of the Wild assistance, a guy by the name of Jerome McGinley. Oh, I got so sick of seeing that face celebrating against us. Got so old. Well, that's what's going on with Jason Robertson. He is the Wild killer, man. 1-0 Dallas. Not even 6 minutes into the game, it's like, yeah, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. Huh? No, we're not. Apparently not. Philip Gustafsson channeled his Jake Ottinger and was pretty good the rest of the game for the most part. Yep, for the most part. Matt Boldy tying things up, an epic style, 26th goal of the season. Good for him. Ryan Hartman assisting on that one with Jared Spurgeon. And then Foligno would have a pretty exciting goal. Again, this was, after a battle, an absolute battle, throughout the rest of the first period and second period, the Wild would get opportunities but not finish. Jake Ottinger was knocking the puck away. He would face 41 shots throughout the game. 41 shots throughout the game and into OT and such, because this did go to OT. Yes, Dallas got a point, but the Wild aren't going to catch the Stars anyway. I mean, it's mathematically impossible for the Wild to catch Les Dallas Stars. It's not going to happen. Anyhow, Marcus Foligno with a pretty good goal there, just less than 2 minutes later. Still pretty early in the third period. Basically one quarter into the third period, 5 minutes on the button. 13th goal of the season. Rossi assisting, and Matt Boldy with his 40th assist. Rossi with his 34th, Boldy with his 40th assist. Nice. Foligno, though, as they're playing basically that was like on the top line at the time, because there was no these other guys, I can't remember their name because they'd been out so long. Our memory got jogged a little bit of not only that they're still on the team, they're still on the team, but they can play a little bit. Our memory got jogged against the Sharks. In case you forgot, but you probably didn't. Probably not. Just me, I forgot because it's been too long. Foligno again, 13th goal of the season. He's been playing well. I'll give him credit. He has had a pretty good season for the most part. Do I love his contract? No. Do I love the commitment and the amount and all that? Not too much. But has he had a pretty good season, generally speaking? Sure. Fine. I will grant him that. Boldy, when he's on his game, is a joy to watch, and he's definitely been better than just flinging the puck on net from God knows, way out there. So that's the good part. Generally speaking, he still does it, but he's getting a little bit better about getting closer to the net, and that's great. So we appreciate it very much. His goal was pretty cool, and it was exciting. 2-1 Minnesota again after the Foligno goal, but then Thomas Harley, doggone it, with about 7 minutes remaining in the game, would tie it up. Matt Duchene with his 50th assist on the season. 50. Yeah, he's had a hell of a year with the Stars. Tying things up, and then again, there's that sinking feeling like, it was nice while it lasted. They're going to probably find a way to not win this now. Damn it. But it's like, what'd you expect? I mean, it's Dallas. It's Dallas, and they kind of semi-own us. Goes to OT. Next thing you know, Marco Rossi, who appeared to have a lower body injury, significant one, during the course of this game, didn't go out, and that's wonderful. So able to still play at a high level, and scores 24th goal of the season on the power play into the overtime period. And a good feed by Zuccarello, and Boldy would get his 41st assist. Boldy would have a 3-point game. He had a hell of a week, to be quite fair. Rossi able to finish in his 24th goal of the season, and the Wild beat the Stars in XL Energy Center. A home matinee game against the Stars on TNT, that just reeked of loss. And the Wild didn't lose. Awesome. Nice. A nice overtime win for the Minnesota Wild. And we'll take it any time we can. Couple of days off for Rossi to maybe heal up a bit after getting banged up. I didn't even talk about the incident. The New York Islanders 100% not intentional, even though it still should have been a major penalty. Yes, Bo Horvat kind of shoving Mr. Middleton, probably just trying to shove him out of the way. Didn't probably realize what effect it would have, as Middleton's shoulder would go right into the boards. And they're talking about Middleton being day-to-day, where other people are like, yeah, right, how could that possibly be day-to-day? So I guess we'll find out. Middleton's a pretty tough son of a gun, so we'll see. But I don't know, either way, you don't want a guy with an injured shoulder. playing, do you? I mean, it's just such a bummer. Another type of a thing going into the postseason. A pretty important guy having shoulders are kind of important in hockey, and in every other sport too, I'm sure. Like football, hello. Imagine if it's your throwing arm, if you're a quarterback. Yes, that's just great. Guys obviously play through stuff. They persevere, and sometimes it's not as bad as it looks. I don't know. That we'll see. A lot of people were pretty horrified at that one. Like, oh boy, is he going to play again? That kind of thing. So Horvat was apologetic immediately, trying to kind of talk to him, and kind of like he's sorry and help him, kind of type of thing. So that's nice to see at the very least. Obviously, didn't feel good about what happened there. So, but Bill Guerin and John Hines obviously irate, basically saying, "Ask that bleeping bleeper, that bleeping a-hole," is what they said. Not bleeping bleeper, but that bleeping a-hole, basically. They're talking about the ref as to why that wasn't a major. Like, don't ask me, ask that son of a gun, basically, is what took place. So apologize. Yes, that was kind of important. So Jake Middleton, we're going to have to wait and see how things go there. If he's day to day, sounds pretty optimistic. But if he is, that's great. That's great. But if he's able to come back and be, productive and all that, like I'm sure he would like to be, we'll have to wait and see. Pardon me for all that. I wasn't trying to rhyme at all, but it happened that way. So the San Jose Sharks, Marc-Andre Fleury's last home game, supposedly, and I guess it will be. If they're declaring it that, then I guess it is. Like, I don't think they're going to go back on their word. And I don't know. With all due respect to Marc-Andre Fleury, this was not the way to go out at all. Of course, it was the home game. That doesn't mean that he won't be playing against the Vancouver Canucks coming up. There's a pretty good chance he will be. He's not going up against the Flames. Almost impossible in that one. But it's a possibility he goes up against the Canucks. And then Gustafsson is goaltending against the Ducks on Tuesday next week as the Wild wrap up their season. And this certain podcast host will be in attendance criticizing everything they do. No, probably not. Probably nothing like that. An 8-7 game, an absolute wash of a game. Like, what the heck? The Wild would put 44 shots on net. Even Georgiev didn't get taken out. Fleury didn't get taken out. Obviously, some major frustrations. You heard from, you saw David Kostick on Minnesota Wild Global. Yeah, not a happy camper. Like, why wouldn't you just take him out? Like, I know it's his last home game and all that, but he's getting shelled. And I know, I mean, like, part of this, it's a bummer, obviously, and it's like the fact that Marc-Andre Fleury hadn't been in net in forever. I can't imagine how rusty he'd be, so that didn't help. The Sharks definitely have a very promising team going forward. They're not good right now, but there's certainly talent there, and funny things can happen against a young, talented team on a random night like that. But, man, crazy. Oh, yeah. Number 14 and 97 returned. I hope you remember who they are, but you hadn't seen those in a while. Is it the Wild pick somebody up off waivers or something? Like, what's going on? Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah, this guy named Drew Larsenek, who had been snake bit with injuries all year. 4 goals. Yep, the second most in franchise history in a single game. 4 goals for Drew Larsenek. Welcome back to hockey again. Great. It's like he had such a snake bit season. Like, okay, he's healthy and then he's hurt again, and there he is, and he's hurt again, and he's been kind of in a scoring slump. And okay, now he's playing well, and he got hurt again. Like, damn it! But then this time it's much worse. Great. Yep, and he's coming back from that whatever it was, the Four Nations Cup, Four Nations Tournament, Four Nations Face-Off. That's what it's called. Well, his face was taken off the ice, unfortunately, for a significant amount of time. But made up for lost time, I suppose, like Michael Jordan did against Boston, getting 63 points way back in '86 after he broke his foot. It's like, yeah, there's some points I hadn't scored all this time after that broken foot. Kind of similar here with Drew Larsenek. Hopefully he can do that in the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Bulls did not win that series because that was the Boston Celtics in 1986. Who won the championship in '86? Boston. Yeah. And the Bulls were just kind of the fledgling team, which maybe the Sharks could be here coming up. They might be one hell of a team here. Macklin Scalabrini looks awesome. Looks like a stud. All these young phenoms coming into the draft, and you're just like, Man, I can't wait to see what he can do. And huh? Okay, well, he's just new. He's young. Well, geez, that's it, huh? Huh? Well, okay, it's his second year. He's about the same. His third year, he's a little better, but huh? Number one overall pick, huh? Or number two overall pick. Well, this guy looks like a number one overall pick, so that's pretty cool. Congratulations to the San Jose Sharks in able to land that number one pick a year ago and get the kind of guy that could really lead your franchise to something. You know, a Kaprizov type of a guy going to San Jose. So it's exciting. It took the Wild about 20 years to get that. At the end of the day, about 20 years. As good as Gabrick was, and he was good, but he wasn't on Celebrini or Kaprizov's level. Gabrick wasn't a 100-point guy. Gabrick did have a 5-goal game against the New York Rangers, his future team, like basically the next year or so. That was terrific. After he basically said, "Bleep you, I'm leaving." After the Wild tried to keep him, that's pretty much what happened there. And he basically had enough of us, I guess, because he just did. But Eriksson, 4 goals in the game. Boldy with 4 assists. What a great week for Matt Boldy. You know, all respect to Matt. It was kind of like a team effort when it came to like nobody really doing much against the New York Islanders. So, yeah, it's not like Boldy's going to get any type of huge demerit for that one necessarily, even though the whole damn team can get a demerit for that, because that was a crappy game. Marco Rossi, 2 assists. Healthy enough anyway. You know what I mean. They're just guys are hurt. That's just how it is. So 4 points for Eriksson, all goals. 4 points for Boldy, all assists. I guess it's called the beef line. Boldy, Ek, and Foligno. Cool. Well, it works. It works. The beef line, and that's a pretty cool name. I like it. When Russo put that out there, beef. It's what's for dinner, folks. Boldy, Ek, and Foligno. That's cool. Then you have the Kirill Kaprizov and all that with Rossi and all them. So Kirill Kaprizov, that other guy, 3 points, 2 goals, 1 assist. Zuccarello with 3 assists. Again, gorgeous play late as the Wild had to go to overtime versus the Sharks. Are you serious? Kind of a quick give and go with Spurgeon. That was gorgeous. Oh, absolutely beautiful. It was, that was fun. Fun to watch. Fun. Spurgeon had the puck, was bringing it up in past center ice. Put the puck back. Kaprizov took over. And then, looked like he was going to kind of drive down to the net. Nope. Gave it over to Mr. Spurgeon. Kaprizov skated over to his favorite spot for those gorgeous one-timers as he scored one earlier in the game. Ovechkin style, you could say. And yes, very much so. And then was able to receive the puck on that right side for the quick release from a Spurgeon pass, again, like a give and go type of play, like a backdoor give and go kind of a play, and put the puck in as it was like, okay, San Jose, you had your fun, go home, basically. Go home, basically, and that's pretty much what happened there. It was nice. It took 8 goals, but the Wild beat the Sharks. It took 8 goals. And Justin Brazeau had 0. He had 1 shot on net.
What do you hear?
Thank you, Maria. Again, reminder, that's Maria from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Yeah, what do you hear? Yeah, 1 shot on net and 2 hits. Okay, there you go. And he took the puck once. That's awesome. 9 minutes and 37 seconds for the big guy. You know, he sounds cool. He talks very professionally. I have nothing against him. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to somehow make the Wild better in the postseason. That'll be quite a sight to see, as far as I'm concerned. So, like I was going off the list, Ak with 4 goals, Boldy with 4 assists, Zuccarello with 3 assists, Kaprizov 2 goals, 1 assist, Rossi with 2 assists, Foligno with 2 assists, Marcus Johansson kind of got things going with 1 goal. Good job there, Marcus, I'm sure. But the rest of the way, the big boys kind of helped back and forth battle. Though Celebrini would have 3 goals. He would have his hat trick. So it was a multi-hat trick game. Brock Faber also getting the puck on net on a beauty. Matt Boldy, 42nd assist on the season. He would wind up way up there, though. Boldy chasing that 70-point mark. 46 assists by the end of the game. Spurgeon with 25 again. Zuccarello and Spurgeon. I guess it was Spurgeon. It got to the Zuccarello. I apologize, but still, the gorgeous pass. That was Zuccarello, yeah. It was kind of a give and go between Zuccarello and Kaprizov, which has happened about 2,000 times since Mr. Kaprizov arrived at Minnesota. I thought the Iowa Wild won 5-0 last night. No, they lost 5-0. It's supposed to be funny, but it's not. It's not funny at all. 5-0, God. After having a couple of encouraging games. And Boldy did not only chase the 70 assist mark, he passed it with 71. That's what I thought. And Marco Rossi is now a 60-point guy. Please keep both of these. Please keep Rossi. I think he's legit. But Boldy, career high, 71 points after that 4-assist game. He'd entered the game with 67. Still knocking on the door at 70 as he'd had a pretty strong week. Or, well, at least against the Stars. He had a multi-point game there. Yep, so beautiful week for Matt Boldy. I think that's enough to bring in the Mike Modano Award. Jules Eriksson should get it as well. I think they can share it. I don't know. It's not going to get anybody upset here, is it? How do you not give Jules Eriksson Mike Modano Award with a 4-goal game? So I'm going to have them share it. I mean, Boldy was gorgeous this week. I mean, he's now at a career high, so congratulations. 40. So now it says 45. Stop changing stuff, you sons of... Did they take one away, or that stupid Yahoo probably has the numbers messed up, like always? Marco Rossi's a plus 3. That's pretty good. Kaprizov is a plus 18. That's amazing on the season. In only 38 games, 55 points total. Again, he had a multi-goal and a single assist game. Did Kaprizov apologize? Spurgeon at 32 points. His Faber at 30. Not yet. He's going to have to reach it, boy. 9th goal of the season. He's only at 27. Shoot. But I think as you bring in these this young blood, I think Faber's numbers will come back up. It's been a tough year for Brock Faber, I'd have to say. It's not like he's been bad at all, but it's been a generally tough season, just like it has been for a guy by the name of Jules Eriksson. But, got to 13 goals. He entered the game with 9. So that's pretty good. 28 points 28 points on the season for him. Yeah, it's crazy. Foligno's also got 28 points in 74 games. But, yep, nice to see Boldy, though, getting to that 70-point mark. So that's good. He's reached that plateau. Now will he reach the next one? Next season, will he reach the 80-point plateau? That's the hope. I think that's a nice goal to shoot for Matt Boldy next season. And hopefully Rossi, if he's still here, because we don't know what's going to happen in the offseason, reaching that 60-point plateau. Very, very, very exciting and very encouraging. And the fact that, again, 79 games already, 79 games and 79 all, they played all of them. So knock on wood there. Stay healthy, guys. Very encouraging to see those two young guys who had a bit of a disappearing act at times this season. But again, they are in their early 20s. It's possible. Get consistency out of these guys. They might be all-star level talent if you can get consistency out of them. It's a big if, but it can happen. It can. And I want to believe it will. Doggone it. Please let it happen. Please. A wild, crazy game. Fleury giving up 7 goals. Children watching in the background as it's tearing up. It's his last, his last home game and all that. And talk of Marc-Andre Fleury not joining the coaching staff, but joining the front office. So interesting how that will take place. Very likely that Marc-Andre Fleury will remain in the organization in the offseason. At least that's what's been said. I'm not reporting. I am commenting. Commentary. I'm a commentary person. Yes. I'm a commentator. So at the end of the day, reporting would be fun. I just don't have the access to do so. But it would be fun. It would be, wouldn't it, though? Wouldn't it be fun? For some of us, anyway. At the end of the day. So the James Shepard Memorial, I don't know. I kind of just pick on the same people over and over and over again. I don't need to, but you just could say the same guys that don't really do much. Basically, the Brazos, the Trennans, I don't really have anything bad to say about some of these other players. I'm sure they've made some terrible plays and such. There's a couple guys that just got shelled in the game, like Zach Bogosian was a -3. Merrill was a -2. Rossi was a -3. Interesting. Against the Sharks. It is what it is. It was a mess of a game, and that's kind of how it goes. So we're going to kind of take it easy, I guess, about the injuries and such. Maybe the referees for not calling a major against Bo Horvat in the with the whole Middleton incident, the accidental type of situation. So yes, I'm sure Horvat expected to get a major, and it didn't happen. But that's where things stand at the moment. We're going to take a quick break, come back and preview the upcoming games, talk about the NCAA tournament a little bit, and of course a very significant loss for the organization. And we are back here on segment number 2. Time to look at things up and coming, and look at the prospects a bit, and the NCAA tournament, and so on and so forth. We're also, first though, before we get into segment number 2, going to hear from DraftKings right here and right now. Hey, basketball fans, are you ready to win real money? Check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 dunks on its rivals, including prize picks. Just select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, and more. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6 and cash in your basketball knowledge. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5. You get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. And of course, we thank you again, DraftKings, for being on board THPN graciously. So before we jump into the previews and up and coming, I think it's time to talk about Ray Shararo, who unfortunately passed away just yesterday, April the 9th, at 62. 62. Born on July 28th. Wow. One day before me, but in 1962. Wow. Basically the same birthday, of course, number of years before. We'll say, what would he have been, 17 when I was born? So, St. Paul, Minnesota native. Awesome. Ray Shararo dies at 62. And no real information as to what happened. Basically, they're saying he was fighting some kind of a cancer that had popped up, and that's basically, I mean, that's what's out there. That doesn't necessarily mean that's accurate. So don't quote me on it per se. And it's not about me whatsoever. Just the fact that Ray Shararo has been lost. And obviously, John Hines, very saddened, very heartbroken. Very strong ties to Bill Guerin and John Hines, and it's a big loss. It's a big loss. Ray Shararo, obviously, again, a part of the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. He was the general manager. Heck of a hockey man, and very, very well liked, very well appreciated. And he was the senior consultant with the Minnesota Wild, senior advisor. I apologize, I've been using the wrong word. Senior advisor, the Minnesota Wild management, is a position he kept until his death at age 62 on April 9th, 2025, which was just yesterday. Man, very, very sad situation. And of course had ties to the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New Jersey Devils, which of course Bill Guerin and John Hines were tied to over the course of time. So I know it's all kind of a big happy family type of thing, but still it's a huge loss. Huge loss for these guys. And it's heartbreaking to think this is the second time Minnesota Wild lost a senior advisor type. I guess he was like assistant general manager in Tom Curvers not too long ago to lung cancer, despite the fact he never touched a cigarette in his life, which is one of the most unfair things you could ever imagine. Sherrill also did play. He played for the St. Lawrence Saints. He was a center. So also again, he was in the NHL draft in 1982. He's played from 80 to 85. Did Ray Sherrill before becoming more of an executive type of a role. So again, huge loss and heartbreaking. He was the son of former Philadelphia Flyers and New York Rangers coach Fred Sherrill. But now we're going to give major respect. Okay, so real quick, Sherrill also joined the Devils as general manager in May 2015, replacing Lou Amarillo at the time. And then also, so yes, he took over the Devils after being fired from the Penguins after the second round exit in 2014. And then, of course, the Penguins were, the Penguins had their runs later on. But Sherrill was a part of the 2009 Stanley Cup Championship, being the general manager around that time. So good for him getting a ring there, to say the least. So all the big respect to Ray Sherrill, and we will give Ray now a moment of silence. God bless Ray Sherrill. So now we will attempt to segue to regular hockey again. The Calgary Flames, extremely important, a mountain time game, but then again at 9 o'clock though, so I guess Pacific time when it comes to that, in this Scotiabank Saddle Dome. Yep, you gotta have your sponsors, right? ESPN Plus and of course FanDuel Sports Network. Good for us. Friday, April 11th, and it's a Friday, so it's not going to kill you to stay up a little bit, I suppose. Jake Middleton, of course, shoulder, basically is what it is. Did not play against the Sharks. No information written down. These are, of course, the injuries and such. The Calgary Flames. Morgan Frost did not play on April 9th against the Ducks and so on and so forth. So, obviously, very informative stuff. Connor Zary, that the Flames announced he was out on April 7th. Monday, April 7th, and is week to week. So, that's a little bit more information. Week to week for Connor Zary. Justin Kirkland, ouch, ACL back on apparently November 29th. Surgery was successful, like it should be and better be, doggone it, on December 4th. So Justin Kirkland, ACL surgery, December 4th. Comparisons. Well, Calgary, not so good in the goals department. 31st in the league, yet they're still 10 games above 500, by the way. Wild are 24th in goals. We're not too impressive either, but do anything like yesterday with Kaprizov and Mr. Eriksson combining for 6 goals in a single game. Let's see if we can do that again. Goals against, Minnesota 16th, and Justin Wolf and co. with the Calgary Flames 13th. Not bad, eh? Power play, the Wild are 17th, Flames are 21st. Penalty kill, the Wilds are flaming bad at 30th, and the Flames are flaming out as well at 26th. Penalty minutes, the Wild are 11th, and the Flames get angry. They get red hot mad. 27th in the league. Lots of penalty minutes there, and so on and so forth. The Flames do lead the season series 2-0, so they basically already won the tiebreaker. Though I don't think the Wild have to worry about too much necessarily. They're too many points behind, but I do believe they have a few games in hand, which is the infamous comment that we always make in these playoff rushes. They have games in hand, but it does mean something. It's points that still are out there, that are still available, that maybe you can't get anymore. They're gone already in your case. Calgary did win in a shootout. Officially, they call it a 4-3 game, but it was a 2-1 shootout after a 3-3 tie way back on Saturday, November 23rd, leading into Thanksgiving week in that case, because Thanksgiving was super late this past year. That was in Calgary, Saddle Dome, that type of thing. Flames then beat the Wild 5-4 in a battle there on Saturday, January the 25th. We like to play each other on Fridays and Saturdays, apparently, so 2 Saturdays. Both very close games, but losses. Minnesota did squeak out a point, of course, by getting to the shootout, unfortunately now winning in November. Wild have a chance, hopefully, to put things in a slightly better position here if they can pull it out. The point total would officially be if the Wild were to get a regulation win, 4-3, with Calgary winning. Though I have my doubts a bit in this one. Friday, April 11th, tonight tomorrow, not tonight. Tomorrow. Friday, April 11th at 9 o'clock. Calgary has been a bit up and down this year, unfortunately for them, or they've been a bit up and down of late, which is, they had a real shot at this thing, but they haven't been playing all that great. The Wild hadn't been playing great either, having lost 4 in a row, leading into the game versus the Dallas Stars, which figured like a 5th loss in a row, and then barely winning 8-7 versus the Sharks. It's kind of scary, but Wild did beat Dallas officially in overtime, and San Jose also in overtime. Calgary lost to Utah, beat the Ducks, lost to Vegas, beat San Jose, and then lost to the Ducks in a shootout, or in overtime, as the Ducks with the victory there. That's the final opponent of the regular season for Minnesota going forward. Again, Boldy reaching 70 points. That's 70-point threshold, and here comes the train. That's Matt Boldy going into the playoffs, by the way. Dustin Wolf, not Justin Wolf. Everybody's probably slapping their earbuds. You idiot! Listen, you do not know who Dustin Wolf is. I guess not. Yeah, I do. Just dumb. 26 and 16 on the year. 2.64 goals against average. He's been generally pretty good. 9-10 save percentage. 3 shutouts. Dan Vladar also with a couple of shutouts, but numbers a bit worse. 2.86. 89.5 save percentage. Here comes Foligno. He's going to truck over somebody. I don't know. Okay, good. That's over. It's going to happen. That's when they come, I guess. The train comes this time on Thursdays, I guess. Nazem Kadri is officially the leading scorer for the Calgary Flames. Being acquired, from Colorado? 31 goals, 30 assists, 61 points. Not too bad. Not spectacular, but not too bad at all. 78 games on the season. Again, they do have a game in hand versus the Wild. Mr. Huberdeau, acquired from the Florida Panthers a while back now. That's Jonathan there. 28 goals, 31 assists, 59 total points. Weger officially leading the club in assists with 38. That's a defenseman acquired from Florida. Unfortunately, no cup for him, but unless the Calgary Flames can say something about that in the next year or two, hopefully for their sake they can. Jakob Peltier, I just like that name. 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 total points. For him in just 24 games with Calgary anyway, if you know what I mean. Calgary's in 4th place in the Pacific Division. Edmonton has lost a lot of games in a row. It's unfortunate. We'll see if they can still go on a playoff run. Vegas is in good shape with 103 points. So regardless if the Wild play Vegas or not, it's going to be a tough one at the end of the day. Vancouver's not out. It's Anaheim that's out. My apologies, Vancouver fans that might be listening, just in case. But are the Wild going to beat the Calgary Flames? I don't know. I don't know. The way that we play against them, it's extremely frustrating. Wouldn't be surprised if the Wild take the L. But then again, with Kaprizov and Ek back, maybe that makes us a little more optimistic. Am I being over-optimistic if I think the Wild can win these last 3 games? They can, but will they? I don't know. Doggone it. I got a feeling it's going to be some kind of a shootout overtime type of deal. 4-3 Calgary. No, like 3-2. Like it's going to be low scoring. 3-2 Calgary. Unfortunately, like a shootout type of deal. Overtime type of deal. I think the Flames get 2 and the Wild still squeak out a point, which helps secure a spot in the Wild. Hopefully then can finish up the last 2 games versus Vancouver and Anaheim respectively. Most likely guy to score tonight will be, Matt Tumba, not. He's the one from Calgary previously. Boldy will score tonight versus the Calgary Flames. He's been great, but unfortunately the Wild only get 1 out of 2 possible points. But that does not put the Wild in dire straits necessarily. We'd like to believe the Wild could finish things off here, but I got a feeling Calgary wins, but still has to surrender a point to Minnesota at the end of the day. Why did I go back? That didn't make any sense. Vancouver can schmucks coming up. They are still in it, but not really. They're kind of, I get mixed up as to who's in it and who isn't. Oh, no, Vancouver is out. Vancouver is out. Yeah, why am I comparing them with Calgary? Calgary is the only one who still has a chance to catch us or anybody else. No, they're out. I apologize. Tyler Myers did not accompany the Canucks. These are the injuries, of course. 2-game road trip, April 9th, so on and so forth. Nils Aman did not play against the Stars on April 9th. Okay? Nice. Elias Pettersson, very important player, of course. That he's unlikely to return before the end of the regular season. So that's kind of how things go as of April the 1st. Vancouver's 20th in goals, 19th in goals against, 12th in the power play, not bad at all, 4th in the penalty kill, okay, 29th in penalty minutes. The season series is tied. Minnesota beat Vancouver 3-2 in OT way back on Tuesday, December the 3rd. And then recently, Vancouver beat the Wild 3-1, March the 7th. Kind of recently, anyway. Vancouver's been playing meh, kind of giving up goals, scoring goals. They've been all over the place. They also got shut out 5-0 by Seattle, which I think was like a, good night type of a game, basically, for Vancouver's playoff hopes. Losing 5-0 to Seattle at home ain't going to get it done. 3-1 loss to Winnipeg, 5-0 loss to Seattle, 6-2 win over the Ducks, 3-2 loss to Vegas, a 6-5 win over the Dallas Stars semi-recently on April the 8th. Yeah, it's recent enough. The Vancouver Canucks, obviously Bo Horvat's not there anymore, no kidding. Kevin Lankinen, who's had some really nice moments, 4 shutouts on the year, save percentage of 90, 2.67 goals against average. Thatcher Demko has been kind of one of those oft injured, good and bad type of a goalie. He's up and down. 23 games, 10 wins, 8 losses, 290 goals against average, a save percentage of 889. Yuck. Quinn Hughes, who I will remind you is a defenseman, with 74 points in 64 games. Hell of a player. 16 goals, 58 assists. That's absolutely crazy. 4 power play goals and 20 power play assists. Brock Besser leads with 9 power play goals and all that. So good for him. Will he come to Minnesota someday? I don't know. We've been talking about him since 1974 to come to the North Stars maybe. 25 goals, 24 assists, 49 total points, but he is a minus 24. I remember bringing that up earlier in the year. His plus minus is awful for the most part with Vancouver. JT Miller in 40 games at 35 points. I don't know. This definitely should be a winnable game. This is a back-to-back situation. Probably the last game of Marc-Andre Fleury's career, unless for some reason the Wild put him in there versus Anaheim. We'll see, but I'm doubting it. But this will be in Rogers Arena, 9 p.m. on Saturday, April the 12th. Marc-Andre Fleury will most likely be in net. You don't want to absolutely kill Philip Gustafsson going into the postseason by putting him on a back-to-back. That would be stupid. So Marc-Andre Fleury will probably have his last hurrah here, and I do believe the Wild give him the win. Marc-Andre Fleury. Other things I had written down and noted and I didn't mention. Marc-Andre Fleury with the win over the Sharks. It's like, again, it's almost like people were joking like the Wild intentionally gave up that late goal to the Sharks to let the game get tied up. Because then with the win, Marc-Andre Fleury is the all-time leader in terms of overtime wins, all-time, with a 70th overtime win, which passed Martin Brodeur, former French-Canadian there from Montreal, Quebec. Marc-Andre Fleury, all-time leader in overtime victory. So, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, that'll be a hard thing to catch because of the shootout." So, but Fleury played throughout the whole shootout, so that's pretty wild. Nope, not all of it. I suppose Fleury did get drafted back in like 04, I think it was, or 03. So I guess he played a little bit before the shootout, but it's not like it was most of his career. Where Brodeur was pretty much all of it. So Martin Brodeur. The Wild get the victory as far as I'm concerned. We'll say 4-2 win for the Minnesota. Most likely guy to score is Kirill the Thrill against the Anaheim Ducks. Kirill the Thrill will score against the Vancouver Canucks, Vancouver Canucks. Kirill the Thrill, 4-2 win. Final game of the regular season. Again, a certain podcast host quite possibly in attendance for that one. We'll see. It's just a rumor. I don't like spreading rumors, The Ducks 35-8 on the season, right? At 500, 6th place in the Pacific Division. What the heck am I clicking on? This is April 15th, Tuesday, a couple of days off after the back-to-back. Jacob Trouba didn't play against the Flames. Okay, just recently. John Gibson, the actor, no, the goaltender, who's been there forever now, didn't play against the Flames. Okay, that was recently again. It's this overtime victory for the Ducks. Russ Johnson isn't expected to play against this season. So there's that conversation. The Ducks are 24th in goals, 16th in goals against, 17th on the power play, 27th on the penalty kill, 23rd in penalty minutes, and so on and so forth. The Wild do lead the season series with a 5-2 win over the Ducks on November the 8th, and a 5-1 win on December the 6th. The Ducks have won 2 games in a row after losing 2 in a row to Calgary and Vancouver. They then would beat Edmonton and the Flames. They also included a April 1st shootout victory over the Sharks. Did the Anaheim Ducks. Can't call them the Mighty Ducks now. That's just terrible, right? How dare you? Lucas Dostal, 23 and 21 on the season in net. Goals against average over 3 at 3.05. Save percentage of 90.5. 1 shutout and 6 overtime losses. John Gibson, 11 and 11 on the season. 2.77 goals against average. A save percentage of 91.1. Billy Husso getting in a couple games. But it's been a rough showing, even though he had a great save percentage. But what the heck? Gave up a lot of goals, though, because he was getting peppered, apparently. Troy Terry is the overall leading scorer for the Ducks with 20 goals, 33 assists, 53 points in 73 games. Mason McTavish with 50 points, not bad. 21 goals and 29 assists. Any notables here? But generally speaking, a winnable game, I would have to say. I think the Wild do get this win. I think the Wild get 5 out of 6 points to wrap things up, which puts them in prime position to be in the postseason, but probably, unless St. Louis starts dropping off, which they had a bit. They dropped off a bit. What is this? It's not even showing it correctly. Stupid. But that would put the Wild at, if they get 6 points, that would put, no, 5, what am I saying? 5 out of a possible 6 points. That's what I'm thinking. That would put the Wild at 98 points on the season, so not getting the 100, unfortunately. Winnipeg has 110, Dallas 106, Colorado 100, Vegas 103, and blah, blah, blah. So the Kings will probably also get to 100, and the Edmonton Oilers maybe. Calgary's not even at 90 yet. So it's an uphill climb for Calgary, even though they have 1 game in hand versus the Wild. I do think Minnesota finishes 98 total points, beating Vancouver and Anaheim, respectively. I think it's going to be lower scoring a little bit. 3-1 win for the Wild. Pray to God there's just no more stupid freak injuries right before the playoffs. It's just been an issue, and it's been extremely frustrating. Most likely guy to score for Minnesota versus the Anaheim Ducks will be Joel Eriksson. I'll get to see Joel Eriksson score. We'll get to see Joel Eriksson score in that one, and that would be great. So we'll see what happens with that. 3-1 win by Minnesota over the Anaheim Ducks. The Wild then would have 45 wins, and that's just the way I'm projecting. 45 wins, 29 losses, and 8 OT/shootout losses, basically. It's the way I'm projecting here. I don't think they beat the Flames in regulation, I don't think they beat the Flames at all, unfortunately. Well, I looked at the leading scorers for Minnesota. Let's look at the Iowa Wild, who'd been playing pretty well. Liam Ogren now at 18 with 18 goals, 17 assists, 35 points. Wouldn't say he had a great week this past week. Graham Clark was able to add his 16th goal of the season. 36 total points for Iowa. Minus 12, though, unfortunately for him, where Ogren's at even in his plus minus. Spacek was able to add another assist to get to 31 total points on the season to equal his penalty minutes, and still at minus 18, unfortunately for him. Again, they did have some good moments, but yes, poor Jesper Wallstedt. What a snakebit crappy season it's been. As he finally comes back from injury, and the Iowa Wild get beat 5-0. No goal support, and of course, not a whole lot else in front as well. Awful, awful, awful. After a couple of good games by Iowa recently, kind of hanging in there, so to speak. Juracek, of course, out for the year with the ruptured spleen. That sounds just wonderful. Ugh. Ryan O'Rourke, 12 points on the season. He was able to add His 10th assist, good for him, a -9. Again, better from where he was last year, about 30, -30 for an awful Iowa team last year. Caden Bankir, unfortunately, holds the title for the worst plus-minus at -20 on the season. The center, who is only 21 years of age, threw 24 points in 64 games for Caden Bankir. Definitely room for growth. Carson Lambos, who's having a strong finish to the season. Very strong finish. 5 goals, 13 assists, 18 points in 64 games. Those aren't sexy numbers, but what's really exciting about that is the fact that this team, well, unfortunately, the team has not been real good and all that, and he doesn't have like a ton of points, but he's a +5 on the year. I think that's extremely encouraging for Carson Lambos, clearly taking steps forward. As there's a reason he's a +5. He's doing a good job. He's playing, he's playing good defense. He's playing good defense and probably out there at the right time as well. There's some luck to it. There's a bit of that, but I mean he's doing a good job. Like the group of players that are out there, he's part of the players on the ice when the plus-minus is taking place, to say the least. So Hunter Haight with 34 points. He's a -14 as well. Unfortunately, that's 63 games for him at the end of the day. So one last player we can look at real quick in the minors. That's a guy by the name of Kyle Masters. He had 2 points in 14 games for the Iowa Wild, but also with the Iowa Heartlanders. And it's Iowa. 27 games there. 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points in, again, 27 games. He's a +2 for the Iowa Heartlanders, who haven't been all that great as well. But I think this year a bit better than last. Last year was just ultra depressing for both of the Iowa clubs, unfortunately. I'm going to continue to move here a bit, if humanly possible. We'll probably just about jump into some of the, we'll look at the juniors, the college players. It is what it is. Nobody did anything this last week because college hockey gives you a week off after the region final. I think that's dumb. I don't like that they do that. Steve Bulliam, we'll see what happens there. Will they win a national championship? Well, I'll have a little cute take on that here coming up in a second. Thought I had, I don't know what I'm looking at here. Petrovsky, 4 points in 44 games. Again, tiny playing time, unfortunately, for the Czech Republic there. No, Slovakia, but in the Czech league there. They don't give him hardly any minutes. He's been in the postseason, 4 games and 2 penalty minutes. 4 games and 2 penalty minutes. Servek Petrovsky, unfortunately, not getting a whole lot of minutes over there. Danila Yurov, as they continue, 5 postseason games, 1 goal, basically. I believe Metalurg is out after winning the cup last year, or is net, or whatever the word is. Yeah, are they going to advance? Net, unfortunately, for Danila Yurov, but no conversation about contracts and all that, so I don't think there's any rush to bring him here at the moment. In terms of, like, right now, we got to have him in the lineup today. I don't think so. So it's probably not worth it at the end of the day, rushing something like that. So, Kalen Parker, yes, we got to look at the junior guys. 4 playoff games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. Okay, again, he's a defenseman, right shot defenseman. He finished with 28 points in the regular season and a +40 for the Calgary Hitman. Good for him. Aaron Pionk, yes, he is with the Minnesota Duluth. Yeah, why am I going there? Yeah, they've been out for, they didn't make the tournament. So, which is okay. They won multiple national titles. Riley Height, 90 points in 60 games in the regular season. In the postseason, 6 games, 9 points, 5 goals, 4 assists. So, nice to see him performing in the playoffs there. For the Prince George Cougars of the WHL, Riley Height, Kompalainen over for the SM Liga Pelicans, 16 points in 48 games, 8 goals, 8 assists. Right there, even for him. Good for him, I guess. Leskovar, the Wild did sign him to an entry-level contract. That is exciting, I guess. In 6 playoff games, he has 10 penalty minutes. Anything else? No. Nope. But we signed him to an entry-level contract. All right? We did. Okay? Just kidding. Chase Woodsky, he was also signed to a entry-level contract. This team must not have made the postseason. I don't think they... How could they? They're pretty lousy. 17 wins, 25 losses, 3.38 goals against average. That's all you need to know Unfortunate. Oh, there is. Yeah. What am I looking at here? Weird. Yeah, they're not really showing a whole lot of there, so it's kind of frustrating. Woodsky, already talked about him. Soliani, yep. At the pro level, only 1 goal in 9 games, but couldn't playing more in the minors over there. For Finland, Kiviharo, 4 playoff games for him after getting 16 points in 52 games in the regular season for Helsinki. He's pleased and been in 4 playoff games and no points. So unfortunately there. Aaron Kiviharo, Ryder Ritchie, yes sir. Again, a nice step up this year, but again, playing great in the postseason. 5 games, 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. Unfortunately, 10 penalty minutes for Ryder Ritchie, but does look like a playoff performer to me. So that's very encouraging to see Ryder Ritchie kind of showing up when it matters most. And he might be an interesting prospect going forward. He really might. And he was a second-round pick, so he should be. 45th overall. You're hoping for a 45th overall pick to be an NHL player at some point. Be it a second round or a second liner, third liner, whatever. But he's a scoring type of a player. So I think if he makes the NHL, he's more of the scoring variety. But it kind of depends. He's 6'1", 185. He could be a good third liner too if it comes to it. Third liners can score too, as long as they play a good defensive, sound game, that type of thing, and all that. Steve William, of course, is competing for the national championship, possible back-to-back. My strong take on this, my hot take, so to speak, this is tonight, this afternoon anyway, 4 o'clock, the semifinal, the Frozen Four, Western Michigan versus Denver. Western Michigan is the only number 1 seed remaining, whereas in basketball, all the number 1 seeds made it, and eventually Florida would squeak out the closest, craziest win ever, basically, versus a Houston team that looked like they had them beat. That's for tomorrow if I get to it. I might forget with all the other drama going on with the Timberwolves on Friday morning. Thought I heard the train coming again. I'd be like, what? But whereas hockey, only one of them made it, and it was the lowest seeded one, the overall 4th seed in the tournament. Western Michigan versus Denver, and on the other side is Boston U versus Penn State. A lot of people are probably thinking Denver, Boston U, just because that's how it goes. I'm thinking Western Michigan, Boston U. But my hot take is here, the winner of the Denver and Western Michigan game is the national champion. I think whoever wins that game wins the national championship, because Denver, if they win, they're probably going to win the whole thing again. But we'll see. I'll probably be dead wrong, but we'll see. Otherwise, Western Michigan gets past Denver. I think they win it all. And that'd be really cool. I think a lot of people would celebrate that. I think we're sick of seeing Denver win. Steve William or not. It's his last game anyway, if they lose or if they win, whatever. They win it all. They win it all. It's either his second last or last game with Denver. So it's not like you're going to see him forever there. I think we're all sick of Denver, and Boston U's got a pretty good number of national titles as well. Western Michigan, Penn State would be kind of cool. You get a new team. Though as a Big Ten team, it'd be kind of annoying for Gopher fans a little bit, seeing a Big Ten team get it, I suppose, when we've been screwing around for so long. But I do think it's Western Michigan, Boston U for the national title. And Western Michigan wins. So watch it be Penn State and Denver with Penn State winning it. Just watch. That's probably just watch. But that's my take there. And I think that's about it. So with that said, we'll take a quick break and come back for the fan interaction segment. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 3, fan interaction segment. Well, we'll see who wins that national title, huh? We'll see if Derek can get the Western Michigan. That would help, right? So, where are we? At Brave the Wild, hashtag BTWMN, hashtag BTWMN. I always try to look if I left something in the background. I think I did here on one of them. Oh, yeah. Okay, yep, there was an interaction with Fringe Fanatic Sports Podcast. So, yep, thank you very much. So they cover a lot of the Denver teams and such. So, yeah, cool. We'll see what happens. Yeah, obviously I have a weird second shift schedule, unfortunately. So we'll see how things talk up. So we'll be in touch. Good to hear from you, Fringe Fanatics Sports Podcast. Thank you for following and interacting, and see what happens. See what happens with them. Yeah, it is always nice to hear from people out there. That it's encouraging. It's encouraging that people care about your show a little bit and or would like to have you on and such. So, yep, I was saying great episode. Yeah, Derek, Kalisha, and Teresa did a great Teresa Assist episode last Saturday. That was awesome, fun to listen to. And yeah, that was, yep, very encouraging to listen to that one. Because we're going to hear from him now in the Derek Felska lightning round as it has returned once again. And yes, Derek again is the host and the captain, creator of the Crease Assist podcast. At Crease and Assist is the Twitter, X, whatever it's called. And yep, apparently Teams is going to be our means of communication for recording and all that, for like recording with guests and such going forward. At least I'll have to give that a shot one of these days, even just kind of on a trial basis to see how it all works out. Should be fun. Apparently there's, what is it, like an hour total recording that you can do, but maybe you can kind of cheat the system, so to speak, by like, you do your hour, stop everything, and then start a new hour. But maybe that's how you do it. Like, we're going to break. Anyhow, to Derek, leading off in left field, Derek Felska. He's an assist. The Minnesota Wild are still pumping the brakes on a return of 97-14. Isn't it time they just say they're going to save them for the playoffs and quit teasing everyone with a return? Yep. Well, yep. Then it's funny how right after that, of course, Derek's probably like, oh, that figures. So like right after that, it was announced that they are returning, and they had that crazy game at the end of the day. And MN Johan says, you do know they're playing tonight, right? Can't you wait to see it, as I'll be in attendance tonight? And Derek said, I heard they are not, but it won't really raise the excitement level for me. I expect to see a lot of rust on both. Crazily, they did surprise us, especially Eck, as he's a guy who'd have a kind of had a snake bit season with one stupid injury after another, like I was talking about. And then he winds up with 4 goals. So, yeah, I think we were both pretty surprised, Derek, to say the least on that one. And Johan, definitely ever the optimist for the most part. And, yeah, we appreciate and Johan here on Brave the Wild. And absolutely appreciate Derek as well. Continuing. What odds do you give the Minnesota Wild of advancing beyond the first round of the playoffs? If it's the Winnipeg Jets, like 10%. If it's the Vegas Golden Knights, 20%. So it's 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 5. It's like pick your poison. 1 out of 5. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Or it's even like 15% versus Vegas. But that's kind of where I stand. I mean, the Winnipeg Jets have annihilated us this year. And when Winnipeg beats us, they beat us. It's just kind of been like that. Like last time when we were in the postseason with Winnipeg all those years ago, it was a similar kind of vibe. Like, yeah, here we go. And then they killed us 4-1. And Chuck Fletcher then was fired, but replaced by kind of a maniac who lasted 13 months. He did draft Matt Boldy, though. Anyhow, he also drafted, what was that guy's name? I forgot his name already. See, doesn't that tell you something? The Johansson guy. What was his first name, though? Like, I'm going to kick myself seeing it. But where is he? Okay, I'm losing my mind here. Yeah, Philip Johansson. Let's do the Philip Johansson. Let's check up on him. Jack McBain did take in the next round. He's played in 237 games, but only 79 points. And Connor Dewar, 235 games and 52 points. Not exactly the king and queen, the king of production. Unfortunately, Philip Johansson hasn't played a single game in the U.S. since last 24. It was the Vancouver organization, as he'd moved on there, and the Wild got a compensatory pick. 18 points for the AHL affiliate, Abbotsford Canucks, 18 points in 55 games, and now he is overseas, so he's like, forget it. Rogel, BK, Angelholm, Swedish Hockey League, 17 points in 51 games, and I don't know, kind of a bummer of a pick. And again, no offense to Philip Johansson, he did show some promise on occasion, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, we can't blame Doug Risebrough or Bill Guerin for that pick. It was pretty weird. But remember, Paul Fenton says he drafted Ryan Suter. Well, they'd be like two peas in a pod, wouldn't they? Yeah. Anyhow, here we go. Derek Krauska, what is your favorite Marc-Andre Fleury memory? It could be, I think it's the ultimate one. The ultimate memory probably for him as well. I was sick and tired of the Detroit Red Wings over the years. Obviously, the late 90s and the 2000s, they're good every year. And though the Wild put up this great effort and, Josh Harding's in there. He faces 42 shots and the Wild lose 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. One of those. Just like, come on, I'm sick of Detroit. It was nice to see after the year before, the Detroit Red Wings beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, kind of heartbreaking fashion. It was a great series, 2008. But then 2009, the Pittsburgh Penguins did what the Pittsburgh Pirates did in 1979. They were the first franchise since then, and nobody talked about it. Nobody on earth talked about it, and I didn't understand. This was back when the home team always wins Game 7, right? Like, obviously, the Twins won both the Game 7s and such. The Twins won every Game 7, or they won their Game 7s against Atlanta, and, of course, the St. Louis Cardinals in 87, Atlanta in 91. So, but then something crazy happened. This Pittsburgh Penguins team, again, did what their baseball counterparts in the city of Pittsburgh did 20 years earlier. They went into Detroit, in this case, and beat them in Game 7. It was absolutely gorgeous. Marc-Andre Fleury helped he was the goaltender. He was, amazing and all that. And the Pittsburgh Penguins beat the Detroit Red Wings in the 2009 Stanley Cup Final. That was absolutely awesome. That was extremely exciting. Looks like they still... It says finals. That's interesting. But that's easily my favorite memory. I mean, it truly was when you think about what took place in that one. A very low-scoring game. It was back and forth. I kept checking on the phone because, even then I had the internet on the phone. It was mostly just text. But I guess by then, no, there were graphics, but it wasn't anything too spectacular. But the Penguins held on, and and Fleury obviously did a pretty damn good job to keep the mighty Detroit Red Wings to only one goal. So that was exciting, to say the least. Marc-Andre Fleury would face 24 shots, which isn't that much, but only let one goal in. And that's my best Marc-Andre Fleury memory. Did he throw in the Detroit Red Wings, and, well, they haven't won a Stanley Cup since. I don't mind the Red Wings now, but at that time, I was sick of them. Like, oh my God, enough. I'm sick of Detroit winning every year. I respected the team and everything, but I liked that Penguins team, talk on it. It was cool to see Bill Guerin get it done. Obviously, Bill Guerin, congratulations to him. Number 13, Bill Guerin got a Stanley Cup there that night. Jordan Stahl, Max Talbot, crazy Max Talbot, 2 goals for the Penguins. Of all people, of course, again, Matt Cook, future Wild in that case. Crosby getting his first. Pascal Dupuis, former Wild player. Bill Guerin, future Wild general manager. Malkin got an assist on one of them. And so on and so forth. Chris Letang was around all the way back then. Sergei Gonchar. So they got it done. Game 7. Stanley Cup Final at the time. A 2-1 close frickin' game. Marc-Andre Fleury was actually pitching a shutout and gave up a goal in the third period, unfortunately, but he was able to hang on and get it done. And, oh, man, what a relief that was, indeed. It was with about 6 minutes remaining in the game. Jonathan Eriksson was able to score. Nicholas Lidstrom, the legend. And Yuri Hudler? He's still playing? Damn, that can't be the same guy, can it? Yuri Hudler, who was with the Penguins way back in the day? That's insane. Huh. Yeah, maybe he was pretty young at the time. Man. But, yep, you got me going here. I love history. Yeah, Marian Hossa, that's when he was, like, getting heartbroken. He'd been with the Penguins the year before. He's like, okay, if you can't beat him, join him. Hossa kept running into heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. Oh, you felt so bad for the poor guy. And then he goes to the Chicago Blackhawks, and that was it. Nope, it's not the same. It's not the same guy I'm thinking about. Yep, I remember getting mixed up with him and this other guy with the Penguins in '91. It's not him. Nope, my bad. He wound up retiring with the Stars in '17, but started with the Detroit Red Wings in '04. Only got 1 cup, but hey, 1 is better than 0. All right, enough of my babbling. But that was a fun little history lesson because Marc-Andre Fleury memory. I mean, you're going to be digging a little bit because it's not like he was great with the Wild. It was exciting when he like, oh my God, they're getting Marc-Andre Fleury. He's pretty mediocre most of the time, but then had some great games with us as well. Some very memorable moments. But it's going to be with the Pittsburgh Penguins Game 7, there's no doubt. And that's the ultimate memory for him. You know, how could it not be? Next ultimate memory for him is I'm sharing it with Marc-Andre Fleury. Anyhow, which one of these free agents excites you the most? John Tavares, Brad Marchand, Brock Nelson, Mitch Marner, Patrick Kane, Stan Bennett, Claude Giroux, Nikolai Ehlers. Which one do you think the Minnesota Wild will ultimately land, if any at all? I'm sure we're going to go hard and heavy after Brock Nelson. I'm sure we are. Patrick Kane would be pretty cool. It'd be cool to see Patrick Kane on the Wild, considering after all the thrashing he did to us. Hat-trick for Patrick. Remember that bit? Yeah, he had multiple hat-tricks on us. Son of a gun. Stan Bennett would be awesome, but I'm not sure how expensive. It might cost a few bucks. Giroux. Love Giroux. Getting a little older, unfortunately, but really love him. But so is Patrick Kane. Brock Nelson's definitely getting older. Ehlers, yeah, okay. Mitch Marner, whew, that would excite me the most. I'd have to say it's got to be Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner would excite me the most. Tavares is a nice name. He's been around forever. He's been good. You know, you don't hear about him as much as we used to, I suppose. But obviously, still a hell of a player. Who are they going to land? Probably Brock Nelson. That's my guess. John Tavares. Yep, so multiple Maple Leafs here possibly float around. I mean, Tavares would be great. I'm not going to be silly here. He is 34 though, so it's like again. Tavares, I'm not. 72 points. I mean, that's pretty freaking good. He's had a hell of a career, so it's not like I'd be pissed off necessarily. It's just that obviously. At the same time, would it make me go crazy? I'm not sure. It'd be cool just for the sake of being cool. Ehlers, a little bit younger, which is good, I suppose. Through 63 points on the season. So, obviously, he's had his moments. He's had his ups and downs. He was the 9th overall pick in 2014, coming out of Denmark. 24 goals. Left winger. Yeah, he'd be an interesting one. Maybe I don't see that one happening, I guess, as much as some of the others. Mitch Marner is probably very unlikely, but that'd be really exciting. At the same time, I mean, I don't know, like, when are we going to go with some of these other guys? Obviously, Mitch Marner, 97, yeah, he's a star, obviously. Like, he's absolutely a star. He's under 30, super high pick in 2015. Ehlers is pretty young, too, so he must be about 28. Yeah, I mean, Marner would definitely be the most exciting, but how much is it going to take? Man, could you imagine Kaprizov and Marner? It'd be exciting. I don't see it happening. I don't. I think it's Brock Nelson. I think they're going to sign Brock Nelson, probably. They're going to be first in line to sign Brock Nelson. Oh, yeah. So, it doesn't excite me all that much. Giroux, I mean, obviously, I love him. No, I had him up. Yeah, Claude Giroux with Ottawa. Yep, I mean, I loved him with Philly and all that. Definitely an older, yeah, he's super old. 37. I didn't even realize he was that old. I thought he was like 34 or something, but 37. So, he certainly helped Ottawa become a playoff team, but they're not going to do anything, are they? They're probably not going to get too far. They got to rely on the younger guys to help more than Claude Giroux, that type of thing. And obviously there's some young talent in Ottawa as well. It's not just him. But he's like the adult in the room and all that. He's been there, done that. I don't think the Wild sign him unless it's like a 1-year deal, and he's kind of again to kind of help more than like to be like like a star or anything. To kind of be more like like an adult in the room type of guy. Patrick Kane, I love it. I keep going back to Kane too. I mean, I would love Patrick Kane. Just for the sake of, my God, that son of a gun who tortured us. 55 points in the season, by the way. He's 36 already. Still a good player, though. Still good. He's definitely not the guy you remember. He used to smoke us all the time. It'd be cool to see number 88 on the Minnesota Wild, wouldn't it? Even just for a year. Like, what the hell, Would he be willing to come for cheap I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. I think it's Nelson. I think that's just kind of like a marriage waiting to happen. Bennett is unlikely. Marchand unlikely. It's probably Nelson, yeah. Or it's probably Nelson or bust, I think, which is annoying. Next one are the Minnesota Wild. The NES bring back of Ninja Gaiden. Where was it a good thing? And excuse me, I'm reading it so like stupid. I'm sorry. Are the Minnesota Wild the Super Nintendo? Yeah, see, I screwed this all up. Are the Minnesota Wild the Super Nintendo bring back of Ninja Gaiden, where it was a good thing in its original form, but at the same time you ask, why did you bring it back the same? Kind of like that, yeah. Yeah, I could see that, where it's just kind of like you're just bringing everything back, and it's like it's not as good and everything, or it's like the same old thing, that type of deal. Like, you didn't really make any improvements. Yep. Ninja Gaiden was a great NES game. Absolutely great. But yeah, maybe you're hoping for some upgrades if you're going to a 16-bit version of it. And yeah, it's like the same old story. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you keep signing guys like older players and such. And I could see the Minnesota Wild signing Brock Nelson for a similar reason. Like kind of a win now. Yes, an adult in the room. Supposedly, Foligno's an adult in the room. Supposedly. Well, he's getting crazy penalties on occasion, but he hasn't pissed me off that much this year. But at the same time, it's not like I'm like, oh my God, Foligno's like this, essential person. I don't know. Anyhow, so yes, I'm messing something up here in the background. Let's keep rolling. Sorry for messing that all up. I felt so stupid. My apologies. Jay Bushy batting 8th here, looks like. Jumping in says, how do we feel about Wallstedt's progression this season? In my opinion, this season has been a setback in his progression and he needs to step up. Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes. Massive step back. It's like 2 steps back, 3 steps back. I mean, and then again, he finally comes back. It didn't help that the team didn't score a damn goal. But giving up 5 goals ain't going to help you win either. So, yeah, the 5-0 loss yesterday, and for Iowa, the Iowa Wild, that is. And yeah, well, I don't want to see him on the Iowa Heartlanders, but that would be a sign of like, yeah, this isn't working out. Best of luck with someone else. Oh, how depressing would that be? Yeah, Iowa Heartlanders goaltender Jesper Wallstedt. No, that's just me talking like a goofball here, but it's been an awful season, to say the least. And I think the chances of Wallstedt sitting up for Minnesota are becoming more and more slim because of that. Next season, I gotta think they're gonna at some point have to have a put up, shut up type of thing. It's been superly unfortunate, to say the least. Final one here, Derek doing the Greg Gagne here, batting 9th. Do you think the Dallas Stars are sandbagging it, coast and lose to the Wild, then epic implosion against Vancouver because they don't want to finish with the top seed in the Central? Possibly. Possibly. I mean, teams, it's hard to imagine teams doing that, but I don't know. Because they don't want to finish with the top seed in the Central. Well, they probably... how close are they at this point? I guess anything's possible, but I doubt it. I doubt it, I guess. Well, they could catch Winnipeg. They probably won't, but they could. Would they be afraid to play like the Wild? No, I don't think they'd be afraid to play us. I don't think so. Or like I don't know what to think of that. Or, they're trying to avoid. You think they'd want to avoid Colorado more than us, that's for sure. So I don't know what to think about that one. I don't know. I'll just say no at this point. Maybe I'm reading into it incorrectly. But from at least from the way I'm viewing it, I think probably not. And of course, teams are. It's funny though to imagine them doing that. It would be. I swear, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers intentionally lost to the Washington Commanders, or whatever they were at the time. I think they might have still been the Redskins. This is like 20. I can't remember what year it was. I think it was Kirk Cousins' last year in Washington, so it must have been 2017. I swear they no, this is further back. like 16-ish. I swear they intentionally lost to Washington. Then they'd get to play them the next week, and the Packers kicked the crap out of them. He's like, like they had a lower seed. Otherwise, they would have played against a tougher team. I forget who it was. I remember Rodgers throwing a late interception and just kind of shrugging his shoulders like, oh, that sucks. Oh, well. Oh, well. And I just was like, did he do that on purpose? Did he do that on purpose? Because it's like, yeah, we're going to kick their ass next week. And they did. They got to play Washington again the next week, and they killed them. I think it was one of the Packers' NFC Championship runs basically there, because they had a few there with A-Raj for a while there, but I think that's what happened at the end of the day. It was kind of funny. Like, Washington, that was in the Kirk Cousins days. Kirk Cousins doesn't win playoff games. Okay, he won once. Yeah, he won one game. It was the best game of his life, basically, against those Saints in 2019, but then got throttled by the 49ers the next week. But, yeah. Sometimes it probably does happen, and A-Raj kind of proved it in that game. I think that was real. I think that was mostly just him doing that. Like, guys, I did us a favor. You don't think we can beat these guys next week? We're gonna beat them, believe me. The other team, I forget who it was, and it would have been a way tougher matchup. And I think whoever it was, the Vikings got that team, and it was way harder, and we lost. I can't remember. It couldn't have been 17 because I know Rodgers was hurt that year. I can't remember. It's years ago. But it was funny, to say the least. With that said, I think that's about it. Obviously, major shout-outs to MNW Young Guns / MNW Prospects. Love you guys so much. Justin Baki, obviously Pavel Bennett, just leading the way. You guys are the best. Do a great job. It's fun talking prospects and such with you. And, of course, the great job you do on the pages and the social media and all that, so like the Twitter, the X, all that. So really appreciate you guys. Minnesota Wild Global, Scott Cavendish, Kathy Main, David Abraham, David and Chance Kostick. Amazing Minnesota Wild page. They do a great job. So, Scott Cavendish leading the way there, of course. So always going to give them a huge shout out because the great job they do. Matthew Nyes already has 2 career hat tricks. Jeez, that's kind of wild. That's impressive. Anyhow, just thought that kind of surprise. Yeah, man, he's having a hell of a start to his career. Wish he was on the Gophers and winning national championships, but no. But anyhow, obviously really appreciate Minnesota Wild Global, Minnesota Wild Nation as well, Patrick Turner. With that said, thank you so much for listening to this show. Really appreciate you. Hope I continue to bring you a good product, to say the least. Yes, next week obviously is the end of the regular season, and we start our playoff conversation, and that's when the release of the show might get a little odd. The rainy day Sunday or random weeknight type of thing, which can be fun. Like sometimes I do Saturday night stuff during the postseason. Some of those Saturday night episodes were fun to do and hopefully fun to listen to as well. With that said, thank you again for listening, and we shall talk to you next week.
This is your before and after story, where your first steps towards a new life-changing career begin. Southeastern College can take you there. We offer in-demand hybrid and online programs with hands-on training, led by in-field career professionals, and career services to put you on the path to a rewarding and fulfilling future. This is where your transformation begins. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.